Okay, let's pick up with part 2, repeated and mixed numbers. I'm sorry, mixed units. So if we're going to convert 10 square feet to square inches, what you need to understand is this. We need to first look at feet to inches. Oh, we'll get there. Hold on. So 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. The one cool thing about this is that equal sign allows me to keep everything equal as long as I do the exact same thing to one side as you do to the other. That's how you keep the equal sign equal. If you do something to just one side and not the other, you've just thrown out the equal sign. It means nothing. So I don't want inches and feet. I want square feet and square inches. So what I can do here is whip out the old exponents and square both sides of that equal sign. 12 squared is, plug that in your calculator, 12 times 12 is 144 inches squared. And 1 squared is 1 times 1, which is 1 foot squared. This is a conversion I can use now to find my 10 square feet or feet squared and change it to my inches squared. Remember, you always start with what you're given, and that is where we're ending, is at square inches. So we're going to start with 10 feet squared, and we're going to convert to square inches. Feet squared's up top, put that over 1 if you need to. It means we need feet squared down low, and we're headed to inches squared. 144 for the inches squared, 1 for the foot squared, multiplying straight across, feet squared is gone. We're left with inches squared. 10 times 144 is 1,440 inches squared. And that is over 1, so that is your answer. You can do the same thing. I want to show you one more thing. You can do the same thing with cubes. If you have 12 inches to 1 foot and you want cubic inches and cubic feet, you can truly just cube both sides. So that would be 12 cubed, which is 1728 cubic inches, is equal to 1 cubic foot. There's another conversion. You can do this with every single thing. As long as you're taking the equal pieces, you can square both sides, you can cube both sides, whatever you need to do to make that happen. This is only when you're dealing with area, and this is only when you're dealing with volume. Okay. Converting 2 acres to square meters. Acres is American. Where is it at? Here it is, area. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet, but we want to go to square meters. So let me see what we're going to have to do for that. There's one conversion. 1 acre is equal to 43,560 feet squared, but we want to go to square meters. Well, I can get from meters to feet. So 3.28 feet is equal to 1 meter, but we want them squared. We want the area piece of this. So I'm going to have to square both sides. So 1 meter squared is equal to, please understand this, you should never round anything until the very last answer. I know some of you are very tempted to go 10.8 or 10.76. Please don't do that. Please do not do that. It will be wrong. 7,584, and this is feet squared. So there is the second conversion I'm going to use. So now we've got 2 conversions. We always start with what we're given. We're given 2 acres. We're heading to square meters. Start with what you're given. Feel free to put it over 1 if you need to. I would like for you to set this up and work through this, okay? And then come back to see how you did. Acres are up top, so I need acres down low. I'm going to go from acres to feet squared. That will take care of that. But then I need to get rid of my feet squared, and I'm heading to meters squared, square meters. Once I get that set up, I can plug in my numbers. 143,560, and then 1 10.7584. Multiplying straight across, my acres are gone, feet squared are gone. I'm left with meters squared. So this is 2 times 43,560, which is 87,120 over 10.7584. This is where, make sure you have your unit, you need to divide. Do not leave it like this. That's very wrong. So 87,120 divided by 10.7584 is 8097.858. And this is meters squared. Now, this is where you round. This is where we round. This is the answer. So now is when we're going to round. We can multiply it. We can do it to the tenths place, which is 1 decimal. Hundredths is 2 decimals. Let's just go ahead and do it to the hundredths. This will be my rounding digit. The 8 will be my test digit. Because the 8 is greater than 5, I'm going to add 1 to my rounding digit. So my answer is 8097.86 meters squared. All right, next one. Converting 500 square meters to square yards. All right, what do we have here? Meters to yards. Well, we've got meters to feet. How do I want to do this? Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do before. I don't know what to do before. So meters to feet, and then I can go from feet to yards. All right, I'm going to have to convert. I'm going to find my conversions. We've got, do we already have this? Oh, right here. So here's my conversions for meters squared to feet squared. So 1 meter squared is equal to 10.7584 feet squared. And so then I just need to find my feet squared to yards squared. Well, 1 foot, no, 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. So if you square both sides, it is 9 feet squared is equal to 1 yard squared. So there is my other conversion I'll use. Starting with 500 square meters, this is where we start. We're ending with square yards. Got a couple conversions. We need to put this over 1 if you need to. Meters squared is gone. I can get to feet squared. I don't want feet squared. I want yards squared. So to go from meters squared to feet squared, I need 1 and 10.7584. To go from feet squared to yards squared, I need a 9 and a 1. Multiplying straight across, meters squared's gone, feet squared's gone, left with yards squared, which is what I want. 500 times 10.7584 is 5379.2 over 9, and this is yards square. Here's where you divide by 9, and I got 597.688. And this is yards squared, but I want to round because it's not rounded right now. I'm going to round to the tenths place. There's my rounding digit. 8 is my test digit. It is greater than 5, so I'm going to add 1 to my rounding digit. These others disappear. And my answer is 597.7 yards squared. All right, converting 35 square kilometers to square miles. Kilometers to miles. Kilometers to miles, sweet. I just need to square both of them. So if 1 mile is equal to 1.61 kilometers, to make them square kilometers and square miles, I just square both sides. So 1 mile square is equal to 2.5921 kilometers squared. All right. I actually might have, it's fine. All right. We can always, this is just easy. So let's start with what we're given is 35 kilometers squared. And we only need one conversion, this guy right here, to get from kilometers squared to miles squared. 1 mile square is equivalent to 2.5921. Multiplying straight across, this is over 1. Kilometer square is gone. I'm left with miles squared. And that's 35 times 1 is 35 over 2.5921. Here is where we divide. So 35 divided by 2.5921 is 13.502. That's 0. I'm just going to go with that and say it's 13.5 miles squared. Okay, last one on this page. The Pentagon, headquarters of the Department of Defense, contains 3,707,745 square feet of office space. Convert this to square yards. Okay, so we need square feet to square yards. I think we have that somewhere right here. 9 square feet is 1 square yard. There's my conversion. So I start with what they give me, 3,707,745 feet squared, and we're going to convert that from feet squared to yards squared. It will cancel out, plug in my numbers, 9 and 1, over 1 if you need to, multiplying straight across, feet squared is gone. 3,707,745 times 1 is 3,707,745 over 9. This is yards squared. This is where you divide. And I got 411,971 point. I'm going to go ahead and write 666, and this is yards squared. Let's round this to the hundredths place. There's my rounding digit. This 6 is my test digit. It is greater than 5, so I'm going to add 1 to my rounding digit. These go away. So my answer is 41971.67 yards squared. I'm missing something. 411. 411. Sorry. I knew something was off there. There we go. All right. Next page. All right. If you need to, always pause. Give yourself some time because I'm just blowing through this. You can always slow me down if you need to. You shouldn't speed me up. I'm going really fast. If you want to convert 50 miles per hour to feet per second, this is where the dimensional analysis comes into play. And I warned you about this in the previous video, that you're not going to always have it over 1 to where there's no unit. In this case, we have 50 miles. We start with what we're given. This is where you start, and we're heading to feet per second. So you've got 50 miles per 1 hour, which is what this means. And we're going to convert this. We're going to convert miles to feet, and then we're going to convert hours to seconds. So miles to feet, 1 mile is 5,280 feet. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And then to go from hours to seconds, you're going to go from, where did it go? Down here. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. All right. I'm going to start with the miles going to feet. Miles are up top, so I need miles down at the bottom. I don't want miles. I'm going to feet. Okay, so that's set up. Miles will be gone. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my numbers. So that will take care of my numerator, going from miles to feet. Now I need to convert my denominator from hours to seconds. Here is something we have not done before. This is something new. You've done it in your past math life. It's just probably been a long time. So notice the hours are in the denominator. We want seconds to be in the denominator. The only way to get rid of hours, because it's down low, is to put it up top so that when we multiply across, they will cancel each other out. So we can go from hours to minutes. We don't want minutes, so it needs to go up top. And then we can go to seconds. I'll show you how it works. Let's plug in our numbers, 1 and 60, 1 and 60. When you multiply straight across, miles are gone. You're left with feet in the top, which is what we want. Hours are gone. Minutes are gone. We're left with seconds in the bottom, feet per second. That per means the feet's on top, the seconds are on the bottom. So now we multiply straight across. 50 times 5280 is 264,000. And this is feet over 1 times 1, 60 times 60 is 3,600 seconds. Now you divide. And you get 73.333. And this is feet per second. Well, we need to round this. I'm going to round it to 1 decimal place to the 10th place. That's my rounding digit. The number directly to the right is my test digit. It is not 5 or greater. It is less than 5. So I don't do a stinking thing to my rounding digit. I just ignore everybody else after it. And so my answer is 73.3 feet per second. Write down what questions you have. Okay. I will help you. You're going to get plenty of practice on this. You do your homework. A projectile is shot into space at 60 meters per second. Okay. Determine its speed in miles per hour. So we need to take this, it's actually a conversion, the 60 meters per 1 second. And we want to convert meters to miles and seconds to hours. So I'm going to use these same exact conversions, but going backwards. And then for meters to miles, what did I do over here? Yeah, so I thought. So we can go from meters to feet and then feet to miles. So meters to feet is 3.28 feet per 1 meter is 3.28 feet. And we're going to miles. So 5280 feet is 1 mile. And then we're going to use these 2 conversions here. So we've got 4 conversions to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start with meters. Let's get that sucker to miles. All right. I'm going to go from meters to feet. Meters are up top, so I need meters down low so it goes away. Cover up this one so you're not confused. And then we can go to feet. But then we need to get rid of feet and go to miles. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my numbers because these are set up. So 3.28 and 1. Oh, this one's 1 and 5280. All right, so I've taken care of the meters to miles. Now we need to get rid of the seconds. We're going to go to minutes, and then from minutes to hours. 60 seconds in 1 minute, and 60 minutes in 1 hour. Multiplying straight across. Meters are gone, feet are gone, we're left with miles. Seconds are gone, minutes are gone, we're left with miles per hour. That's what we want, miles per hour. We need to multiply all of these numbers up top, and then we're going to multiply all the numbers in the bottom, and then we're going to divide. 60 times 3.28 times 60 times 60. And that is 708,480. And this is miles over 5,280. And that's hours. We need to divide by 5280. And that's 134.1818 miles per hour. Now I want to round this. I'm going to go ahead and round it to, let's just round it to the hundredths place, which is 2 decimal places. That's my rounding digit. The 1 directly to the right is my test digit. 1 is less than 5. So I'm just going to ignore everything else. And my answer is going to be 134.18 miles per hour. This is equivalent to 60 meters per second. This is unit analysis or dimensional analysis. Same thing. All right, this next one's different. This next one, we've done nothing like it. I keep saying that, don't I? If the horse Seabiscuit travels at a constant speed of 40 miles per hour, how many seconds will it take Seabiscuit to run a race of 6 furlongs? Now, we need to start with 6 furlongs. I know it seems very confusing, but we need to, the question asks, how many seconds? So my answer is going to be in seconds. This is my end. I have to start with furlongs, and I have to use 40 miles per hour as a conversion. That is one of my conversions. So 40 miles is equal to 1 hour. But I'm going to start with 6 furlongs. All right, where's furlong? And I need to get from furlong, and that's going to have to do with length. 8 furlongs is 1 mile. I need to get to miles so I can get to hours, and then I can go from hours to seconds. The answer has to be in seconds. And if you're thinking, how the heck do we get miles to seconds? It's this conversion right here. This is what gets us to go from length to time. If you didn't have that conversion, there's no other way to get there. Okay. So 8 furlongs is 1 mile. That's conversion. All right, there's 2 conversions, and then we're going to go to hours, and then 1 hour is 60 minutes, and then 1 minute is 60 seconds. These are all the conversions I'm going to use to get us there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. We got to get rid of furlongs. This is over 1 if you need to be. And we can go to miles. Then we go from miles to hours. Then we can go from hours to minutes. And then from minutes to seconds. It has taken me, well, once I learned this method, it took me no time at all to learn to do this. None. Because it just flows. Furlongs are gone, miles are gone, hours are gone, minutes are gone. We're left with seconds. That's it. It is truly a puzzle. All right. So once you get this set up to where you end up with seconds, you plug in your numbers. There's 8 furlongs in a mile. We're going at 40 miles in an hour, or Seabiscuit is. There's 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. Multiplying straight across. Furlongs are gone, miles are gone, hours are gone, minutes are gone. We're left with seconds. Wow. That's it. Multiply straight across. Let's do this. 6 times 1 times 1 times 60 times 60 is 21,600 over 8 times 40 is 320. The rest of these are ones, is why I say that. And this is all seconds. You need to divide 320. Oh, 320 is 67.5 seconds. So the question is, how many seconds will it take Seabiscuit to run a race of 6 furlongs? It will take Seabiscuit 67.5 seconds to run 6 furlongs. Okay. 2 more for this. The speed of sound is 5,023 feet per second in ocean water whose temperature is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Convert this speed to sound, with the speed of sound, to miles per hour. Round to the nearest tenth. This is 1 decimal place. So 5,023 feet per 1 second. And we've got to convert feet to miles. Well, we know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. There's 1 conversion. And then we're going from seconds to hours. So we started with this, and then we're going to end up with this. We want miles per hour. So from seconds to hours. So 60 seconds is 1 minute, and 60 minutes is 1 hour. And that gets us to the hour. So that's 3 conversions. Let's start with the feet to mile. Feet's up top, feet down low. We're going to mile. All right, that's it. Let's plug our numbers in. 52, 80, and 1. Now we need to get rid of seconds. It's down low, so we need to put it up top so it'll cross. We can go from seconds to minutes, and then we need to get rid of minutes and go to hours. So we'll end up with miles per hour. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Multiplying straight across, feet are gone, left with miles. Seconds are gone, minutes are gone, left with miles per hour. Fantastic. 5,023 times 60 times 60 is a lot. 8082800. So that's 18,082,800, and that's miles per 5,280 hours. You have to divide because you can't leave it like that. Oh. And I got 3424.77. Now it wants me to round to the 10th place. I have to go one more decimal, one more place value, so I know what my test digit is. If this is my rounding digit, we have to have one more number for my test digit. And this is miles per hour. So since the test digit is greater than 5, remember we don't round up, we add 1 to our rounding digit. So it's 3424.8 miles per hour. Whew, last one. On August 2nd, 2012, the average price for a liter of E10 gas in Germany was 1.635 euros. And the exchange rate on that day was $1, one US dollar is equal to 0.81717 euros. Calculate the cost per gallon in US dollars. So we want cost per gallon. So we want dollars per gallon. This is what we want. So that means we have to start with euros per liter. All right. The euros are 1.635 for a liter. And we're going to need to do a couple conversions. This is a conversion, but we also need to be able to get from liters to gallons. That's what we have. Liters to gallons. Oh, good. 3.79 liters is 1 gallon. All right. So let's get rid of going from euros to dollars. And that's $1 is 0.81717. Do not round. And then we need to go from liters down low, so liters up top, to gallons. And 3.79 liters is 1 gallon. When we multiply straight across, euros are gone, we're left with dollars. Liters is gone, we're left with gallons. 1.635 times 3.79 is 6.19665. Again, do not round until the final answer. And then 0.81717 gallons. Here is where you divide. And I got 7.583. Now, here's the issue with this. If you are an international student, you may not know. The rest of y'all should. In America, the smallest denomination of money has always been the penny. It's still the cent. It's still going to be 2 decimal places. Okay. You never provide more or less than 2 decimal places. You should always round to the second decimal place, unless these are all 0. then you could say $7, but it's not. And so even if it was just 7.5, you still have to put a 0 for your second decimal place. It has to be represented. That is proper American writing. All right. So since 8 is my rounding digit, 3 is my test digit. My test digit is less than 5, so it gets ignored and the rounding digit stays the same. So the answer is $7.58 per gallon is equivalent to the 1.635 euros per liter. That's how much it would be over there in Germany. And this was in 2012. It's a lot higher now. All right. Well, the exchange rate's different too. That is it for unit conversion. Let me know what questions you have.